have realized that one note by itself doesn't really mean anything. But when we have two notes, suddenly there's a relation between them. They can sound well together, or kind of warm, nice. Or they can be, right? How does that sound? Or these two. Right? So there's always in music either a consonance or a dissonance. And the dissonance was actually forbidden in early music. Gradually, over ages, in Renaissance, in the Baroque era, the dissonance started to go in, right? Kind of sneak in the music. And every time dissonance would appear, it would have to resolve. It could not just stay like that. So something like this had to resolve into something more consonant. That's why we have, right? If we would stop, you all know that it's not finished, right? This dissonance kind of makes us feel tension. That's in the air. And then only the 20th century does dissonance completely emancipate itself from everything else. And now we can have music like this. Most of the people feel this chord as happier, brighter, and this one is a little depressive, right?
Yes.
The difference between these two is a very small half step, what you call a half step. This note is the happy note, and this note is the sad note. Environment, the meaning of that note. So it can be a major note, it can also be minor, it can be very dissonant, or many other things, there's so many possibilities with that one note, depending on all the other notes. We cannot use all the keys of the keyboard at the same time when we write a piece. We have to kind of make a choice. When we want to write a piece of music that's tonal, that sounds beautiful in a way, consonant, then we would choose a set of notes called a scale, right? And we call, this is a piece in G major. That's the scale of that piece, right? G. And we'll use only these notes. Can you raise your hand when you hear this strange note? Let's try this. I cheated a little bit, but I saw all the hands were already up. Chopin here uses the C-sharp minor scale. And all of these notes, they kind of sound good together, they sound well. But then when he uses one note that's outside of that scale, that's foreign to that scale, that note sounds strange. That note disturbs us. And it makes us feel almost pain when it happens. Let's imagine for a moment that Chopin was a very ordinary composer, and that he wanted to write just beautiful music, and that he did not write a dissonant note. He would write something like this. That sounds fine, right? But he writes, right, that one, so weird, so strange, so painful. So we kind of get a hint, this piece is not going to be that, yeah, there'll be something very disturbing about this. There'll be something a little restless. Like a little question, or you know, I want to tell you something. And then, no, go away. Again, the same question. And then, more friendly, but so these different actors are on stage, right? One always stays the same, and the other one changes, right? It goes from, and then the second time, first time it's in minor, second time it's in major, and that difference creates, in a way, some kind of meaning for us. And that's why it's sometimes really hard to listen to classical music, because it demands this kind of listening. It demands you to really dive in to these little nuances and details that the composers and also the listeners of those times were able to understand. Because there was no radios, there was no TVs, no YouTube. If you wanted music, you had to do it yourself. You had to sit down and play it. I think you're starting to see how much actually creative and innovative Chopin was. Every piece, every new song or every new sonata or scherzo is not just new, different music, it's also a new form. It's like an exploration of new possibilities of that shape that music takes. Another friend I played this to, he said, I played the whole thing, and after explaining this, he said, wow, it's as if I just experienced a blockbuster. There are these levels of understanding and listening to music. And the first level is this kind of superficial level of, oh, it's beautiful music, you know, just a sound. Any sound. It's beautiful for our ears, right? We like it. And then when we go deeper, we find that there's this kind of a structural beauty. The interactions of major and minor and modulations and surprises and dissonances that resolve into consonances. A deeper level than that would be this allegorical level or metaphorical level of music, right? And we realize, oh, what does that mean to me? How does that, this major or minor or dissonance, how does that move me? What does that do with my feeling? And what do I want to do after I listen to this music? The work of art is there. It's always the same. It's the same text. It's the same notes. But you grow and you change. And at different parts of life, you find different connecting points with it. And it means